Hey everybody, I'm John Granado. That's Lance Zerline. You can hear us mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet so that you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. Lance, our good friend Ken Hoffman, wrote a piece for SportsMap Houston, which he says he makes the case that you cannot have the luxury of Martin Maldonado anymore. It's just something you can't afford. Through 17 games that he had played, he was hitting .083, slugging .167. Jason Castro hitting and slugging .045. What do you do? How do you address this catcher situation?
You just have to fade it. I don't think there's anything you can do. I mean, I think you're locked into both players. Castro's a left-handed bat off the bench. They see him as a veteran presence with a younger staff, relatively younger staff, obviously, when you look at some of the guys who are out there in the middle of the rotation. Obviously not Odorizzi and not Verlander, but Fromberg, Garcia, Javier, when he starts, these are all younger pitchers. And so Urquidy is, younger-ish, but he's the second guy. Maldonado is the pitch framer. He's the guy who understands how to call balls. How to call pitches for these pitchers. You can't get away from Maldonado right now. You just can't. So the question is, what do you do about the second catcher? I just laid out why I think that they won't go with Corey Lee, who is one of their top young players in the minor league system. He's with the Space Cowboys right now. Really terrific. Some people consider him to be the best player in the system, minor leaguer in the system, in the Astros system. I don't think you're going to see him until 2023. Number one, the Astros don't half step with players. They don't want to start service time too early. We know that. That's one of the ways they do business. Number two, I think they like that they have two veterans, and one of those veterans is a left-hand bat that they can use as a pinch hitter. So I think it's just a matter of, John, you have to wait for them to hit better. I think both of those guys will hit better, but I think that's a relative term on Maldonado.
Yeah, I don't know how much better he's going to hit. Corey Lee already has 4 homers in the minors. Maldonado has 4 hits in the majors. It's just gotten to a point. Listen, and Altuve's not hitting. He's back, and he just hasn't hit this year. He's got to come out of it. Pena is going to have his struggles this season. He's hitting right around 200, just above 200, but he has hit with some pop, and he's come up with some clutch hits. But that's still another really potential hole as you go through the season here in that lineup. You don't know how long McCormick is going to keep on hitting. Bregman, this lineup, that was one of the biggest fears, was the holes in this lineup. And, man, are they gaping right now. Is this lineup good enough with Maldonado in it? And if Altuve doesn't hit, is this lineup good enough to win?
Well, Altuve has to hit. Maldonado's not going to hit. Maldonado might get hot here or there in a series, but he's not going to be a hitter. He's a defensive catcher. So you have to put him away. Altuve, you need to play like Altuve. You can't just lose Carlos Correa and Springer in back-to-back years and think there's no drop-off, especially when you've seen what's happened with Bregman. Bregman has really, struggled from 2020 and in parts of 2021. Jordan's a great hitter. To throw him in there, that's been fantastic. Kyle Tucker's coming out of it in a big, big way. But you've got to get back to norm with Altuve. And, John, we've seen him have some struggles at times and come out of it. There's no reason to think that Jose Altuve is not going to come out of it. I think the bigger question is, are his struggles going to be more prolonged now than they were when he was truly in his prime? I think that's a reasonable question. But for me, John, I think Altuve is the guy you worry about, because Maldonado, if you get anything from him, that's gravy. Yeah. Altuve, you're counting on to be, part of the infrastructure of your lineup. He has to hit.
And his legs are not the same. This is another hamstring injury. He doesn't run nearly as well as he used to. He used to pick up a lot of hits with his speed that he's just not picking up anymore. And if you don't have your legs as well, it's not easy to hit. Period! Exclamation point. I think obviously it's a serious situation with the catching situation, but I think Altuve is the one that you really got to point to and say, this guy, you're right, he's got to hit. Otherwise, this could be a lost season. I don't think there's any question.